Skipped shaving yesterday, so we're going to come back to it with a 2-day beard growth. This is a Frank Shaving Silvertip, and right now it's got kind of pokey, crackly hairs, but that's okay because it's about to get wet. I like to soak mine in a little jar like this. You can just run water through it if you want, is what I hear. I've tried both. I like this better. The razor we're going to use today is one that I've really been enjoying now that this blade is very smoothed out, because it's an old blade. 73 uses so far. So today, 74 on the Gillette Nacet. It's already loaded up, ready to go. This is the antique brass finish on this razor, charcoal goods, level 2. And this is the double helix or dual helix handle. I can't remember the exact wording, but it's a gorgeous razor. And I find that when I've got newer blades, it's a little bit too rough for me, which is funny because they patterned these after the Gillette Techs, I believe. But this is a whole lot rougher on me than a Tech. Anyway, don't think I'll use my lather bowl today, but I've got it standing by just in case. The soap is a little Williams puck, and you can see it's all loose in there. It's very thin and small. We're going to see how many uses. I think this Williams puck is going to give me about 2, not this one, but you know, the one as it started out, 2 months of shaves. Pretty cool. Today we're not going to soak. We're just going to take my brush, put it in there and load for about a minute. Then we're going to face lather. Might be messy depending on how I get the ratio, but maybe I'll lather for a minute and a half. We'll have to see. With such a small puck, and because it moves around, it's a little hard to take. You have to load it for longer. It requires more agitation. All right, now let me get my face wet. All right, that done. I'm going to take out. Now, one of my online friends likes to just go, he waits until it starts dripping, and then he goes right at the puck for about 30 seconds. Now, I think he's talking about a full-size puck that doesn't move around on you. So, you know, we're going to add some time because of that. I'm going to shake. Let's just use about that much. Let's try that out. We can always add a little bit more water later. A minute and a half of, okay, 15. All right, so when 4:15 rolls around, then we'll add 30 seconds to that. So 4:45 rolls around. I'm sorry, it's gonna be a little clinky. We'll just see if the minute and a half gives us a lather that we like. When I've soaked a puck in hot water in this very cup a few weeks ago, 20 seconds was all I needed for 3 passes of lather. All right. If you don't know already, there's a play speed feature on YouTube. You don't have to watch this real time. You can hit the little gear icon at the bottom right of the video. In the video, you know, it just kind of appears. And then speed, I think, change to 1.5 or 1.2, something like that. And we're coming up on 4:45 in about 20 seconds. So this is quite a load, but that puck just moves around so much. And I thought, hey, let's err on the side of getting a bunch of lather, because last couple times it's been a little on the weak side. All right, 2, 1, and 0. There we go. And most of the time you're not going to need to load for that long, but a little bit different story here. All right, so I'm now going to get my face wet again. I'm just softening up those hairs. All right, let's see how I did in terms of the water quantity. Last time I just had too much water. The lather was just rolling off of me, both down my neck into my shirt as well as flinging off of my brush. Now, do I feel those prickly, crispy hairs? Nope, not anymore. They have softened up. Brush feels great. One of the great things about about lathering on your face, you can just feel that lather coming together. And when it's finally ready, you just kind of know it. Wow, I am puzzled. I mean, maybe I just didn't get a very good load because it's such a small puck, but still. So what I'm going to do, just to see if maybe it needs a little bit more water to kind of activate. Added a few drops. I mean, this is going to be a shaveable lather, but I mean, there's not much left on my brush for pass number 2 and 3. And you would really think that that would be there for me after that much load time. So, you know, let's just go back. I'm just going to squirt, you know, a teaspoon of water into the mug here, and then take the brush in there. Let's just, because I mean, I'm not really trying to be all scientific with it because this is a fragment. I like to be all scientific when it's a normal puck, because then that's something you would be dealing with. But if you like Williams, then if you ever get to this point, I'm guessing you're going to be just taking that puck and putting it on top of your next one, letting them glue together. Oh yeah, there we go. I could kind of stop now, but I really like a creamy Williams. And you can get there. I've got a couple of different methods to get there. But I can get there by just waiting and just brushing through the thin, airy stuff. And it's already started to get more creamy and slick and stuff. Yeah, that looks really good. And this is kind of one of the things I don't really like about the face lathering is if you've got a lather like this, you've got to do quite a bit of scrubbing to build up that lather on your face. And then I get a lot that's wasted in my goatee area. Let me see if I can kind of extract, good catch. Extract some of that out. All right, or I mean save it for later. All right. This handle doesn't really provide a great grip when it's wet, and it gets even worse, almost dangerous, when it's wet and soapy. So be cautious about handles like this. I'm going to expect this blade, being so old, to kind of be a little rough on the first pass when I haven't shaved in 2 days. I do have hard water. My usual disclaimers there. Williams works just fine in hard water. A little piece of trivia for you. Williams had a formula change. I don't really know when it was, but they took down the amount of tallow in the soap. And I mean, it still works really well, but it's harder to get that creamy lather. That's just so good and slick. That's just rich, and it's easier to get that if you have one of the vintage pucks. All right, we're all rinsed off. So let's see about laying down the next layer. And look at that. This little puck is just a little hard pressed to give up its lather. So let's just go back in. For a little bit. Lathered for loaded for about a minute the other day, and it didn't give me enough lather either. I kind of had to go back to the mug before each layer, before each pass. And this is not a super soft brush. It's not as good so far. My thought is it's just not as good as the Golden Nib Silvertip Premium. So there's a tiny bit of kind of skin agitation because of all this work I'm having to do. Kind of bring this lather to a usable state. But I'm just curious, how many shaves can I get out of a Williams puck? And then you better believe the next time I get to this point with a Williams puck, I'll just chuck it, because it's probably just about 10 cents worth of soap right there. It's just not worth the trouble. But I'm all sciencey and whatnot. Neck is kind of, I shave cross grain kind of. Almost all 3 passes. That's just what I've found, you know, to be the best. Doesn't really do me too much good to shave with the grain on my neck. So this crappy lather, protecting just fine. Don't get any irritation or anything like that. So I guess it's not so crappy after all. Since my first pass was so rough, I'm doing another with the grain pass. Tell you the truth, I could do 3 with the grains on my cheeks and probably be just fine. They always shave real easy. Alright, I'm going to rinse. Alright. And I'm going to go in here and just get some more soap. Take my little syringe here and throw some water in there just to kind of hydrate the brush. Okay. And when you have a puck that's hard to lather up like this one is, it is a chore to get enough soap around. But there's still plenty of that puck left. There we go. And that last pass I just did, the second pass, it had a great slick, luxurious feel as I rinsed that lather off. So I was able to build that up nicely to a nice, comfortable lather. Now, from what I'm gathering with this marathoning of blades like I'm doing, is that you smooth out the edge and so it's still very sharp. And I've been kind of telling you my progress as far as irritation goes, but that's really not what these older, smoother blades are going to do for you. Because they're getting duller and smoother very gradually. And so what I need to be reporting, and what I have been reporting, but what's the most relevant is the closeness. And and I have been mentioning that with all my shaves, and so I'm glad. But irritation's less of a concern when the blade just gets this old. Yeah, let's do that half pass after the third. Real quick rinse. Oh yeah, that's some good slickness right there. It's late, my eyes are closing. Okay, so let's get a little bit more soap on the brush. Left my face a little wet. And that should be fine. Oh, little tiny piece of soap broke off. Don't want him to get clogged up in the razor. I think that I'm experiencing a little bit of irritation. I'm almost sure though it's the brush. All that mixing I'm having to do on my skin. Thinking that experimentations regarding face lathering might be better taken when I'm in the early stages of the blade use. Or rather, I'm sorry, not when I'm dealing with this tiny puck that's causing me to do a lot more brushing than I usually would. I'm trying to get the amount of soap that I need. So maybe I'll quit face lathering until after I'm done with this small puck. And there we go, that half pass. Let's see. Nah, there's lots that needs to be cut right there. So put a little water in the mug. And if that's the amount right there, that I probably consider time to quit. We'll see what I'm able to do. because I'm not trying to, you know, torture myself or anything. But if it leaves a lot of hairs uncut, that's the sign that this kind of blade, oh yeah, that's better. Very nice. That's what we needed. Well, it was a two-day growth, and so it did take a little bit longer to knock everything down. But I'm really happy with that. There's a few that have some length on them, but no big deal. And so I'm going to keep going. I might switch to a different razor, see if there's one that's better at this point in the blade's life. One that maybe holds it at a bit different angle that suits my skin a little better. We'll keep trying, play around. But I've definitely started to enjoy this more than I've been marathoning these blades. And one thing that a couple of things you learn as you take blades pretty far is you learn about your technique. If your technique is good, the blade can go far. Most of them. If your technique is bad, they're just not going to last. Another one is a lot of smooth shaves. As that blade, as the edge just tweaks down just a hair, it's still razor sharp. However, it is just much more comfortable on your skin in many cases. And I've been able to use razors at settings that I wouldn't normally because of that. And so a lot of people are going to miss that if they only use them 5 times or 8 times or something like that. I'm not saying you have to. I mean, they're cheap. You can just chuck them, right? So if you want to feel like a millionaire and have one thing in your life that you use once and throw away, I think a double-edged razor blade is the thing to do it with because they're just so cheap. Anyway, let me rinse this off. Let's talk about this brush. Was I saying earlier that that this kind of brush is one that maybe I kind of get burned from a little bit if I do too much face work? It's a young knot, so it's possible it could smooth out after a while. But I don't think until I get this puck killed that it's so hard to, I have to do so much work. Just not going to worry about it with that one. I'm picking one of my smoother knots that is going to be more comfortable with all that work. I think I'll definitely do that. Oh yeah, I think I was mentioning about this razor. Maybe putting him down until and finding another one that's maybe a little bit more efficient with this older blade. So yeah, this shave was a little rough because of the soap. It was just tough to get enough soap on the brush to do the job. That's just the way it is. Yeah, if this is your favorite soap, then you would just take a new puck, put it in the mug, and then lay this little fragment on top of it. After like the first shave, it would kind of seal up right onto the other puck, and you just keep on rolling really nicely. But I'm not going to do that. And plus, I want to know exactly when this puck stops. I've got another kind of vintage mug here, and it's got a puck of Williams right inside of it. So I could put it here, but I'm not gonna do that because I want to know how many shaves I can get. I think I'm gonna look in my list and then add it up. Maybe keep a post-it on my mirror here, so I can give you guys the details with how many shaves it's given me. I'm gonna guess it's 2 months, so we'll see. Anyway, it's all done. I got very good results. Not great, but very good. Average to above average for me. So I'm happy about that. And irritation is pretty much all but disappeared. Let me go hit the aftershave here and see what I got. Actually, I have a couple of Barrister and Mann Reserve samples. Used this the other day. This is Reserve Cool. And let's just use those up before they go bad or before I forget about them or whatever. I did enjoy smelling this for a few hours the other night. before I went to bed. It's a good classic scent. I'm glad they brought it back. Yeah, I was happy. It does have some menthol, not less enough for me to be happy with it. It's going to kick in just a second. It does go away after 10 or 15 minutes, but it's more of a burning sensation for me, so I probably would not be buying this. Otherwise, I would be interested. It's good stuff. It's got other ingredients, not just alcohol. So yeah, here goes that burn. Anyway, I hope this is some help to you. Everything's cleaned up. It's time to go to bed. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care. Good night.